Hi, Hillary. Thank you so much for including your sketches. Okay, I've got you. Let me see. I'm just going to try to. I have to reduce this a little. One of the things about recording this screen recording is that I can only make my. Well, I can record the whole screen, but then the video becomes much larger, right? And it's just more unwieldy. So I try to keep it like. But one of the problems is it's fitting stuff into the frame. So sorry about that. I think we got it though. Definitely, yes. Okay, I love it. I think it's great. I think it's just fascinating. It's so easy to follow, and it's really a nice, clean, very clear, descriptive narrative. And I think one of the things when I was reading, and I always read your posts. I always read student posts before I look at the work because it allows me to make connections that looking at the work first, then reading the post wouldn't allow me to make. In other words, it helps me to determine the validity. I shouldn't say validity. I should say it just helps me determine and understand your conceptual approach to the assignment, right? And that can tell me a lot as an instructor, as an educator about said conceptual development, right? So I was reading this, and I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, I was reading or writing, I'm like going, and I'm inside my head, I'm going, oh, this is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. Then I looked at your narrative or your sketches, and I'm just looking and going, wow, it works. It's making perfect sense. It's telling a very clear descriptive story. So I think it's fantastic. Good job. The one thing I would recommend, though, is trying to, and this is, I know you haven't really worked it out to its fruition yet, but and nor are you supposed to. I mean, it's a step-by-step process, right? It's concept development. So the one thing that I'm seeing here is how I love the smoke coming out of the stove. By the way, I love it, and then the burnt. I love this. Okay, so anyways, the one thing I would recommend is working on how you can create a narrative, a organic flow of the story. And when I say organic, I mean a way for these sketches to fit together in kind of a timeline way. Like, okay, so the example that I kept using was that guy with the big red beard shaving with the machete, right? And those. Well, let me tell you what I'm getting at first. When I say an organic flow, I'm not seeing an organic flow if we go just square to the next square to the next square to the next square to the next square, right? What I would like to do is eliminate the squares and allow each of these sketches to have an open, a symbiotic relationship with the other sketches in the narrative, which is right now they don't. So if you can imagine creating some sort of a timeline. All right, something to follow. The viewer can follow this without having to go square. Okay, next square, next square. That kind of rigidity. I think that, okay, for example, you would have a relationship between the last sketch or the second or third last sketch and the second sketch, for example, right? So that, I think, is to a high degree is going to define the success of this piece, is determining how you're going to establish and maintain this organic relationship between the frames. Now, this isn't a storyboard per se, so I don't think it's effective to have these little squares. And again, in the example with the guy with the big red beard that was shaving with the machete, remember each of the illustrations was connected to the next by parts of his red hair and his beard. And I thought that was a really fascinating way to connect to those illustrations. So I think your task at this point, moving into your digital iterations, is how to establish this organic relationship so we don't have to go square to square to square and experience that type of rigidity, at storyboard rigidity, with the narrative. Okay, I hope I'm clear. If not, let me know. I'll be glad to clarify. But I think that is where we should head next. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks. Great job.